Everything I'm about to say is 100% how I remember it happening, from the weather, the time of night, and the conversations had. I couldn't care if you don't believe me, but I need to ask you, do you have a more plausible explanation of the events I'm about to explain? I'm not going to rest until I can find out hard proof Jack the truck driver is still out there. I need all the help from the community I can get. About a month ago, I was travelling for work. My job from time to time requires me to travel from branch to branch across the state to check in on the network and hardware setups across several of our locations. I just finished for the day. It was a Sunday and I was the only one at the store as it didn't operate on Sundays. And fortunately for me at the time, my hotel was about 60 miles away in the next town. I was provided with a work car and a fuel card. I needed to travel about 60 miles away. Now, this particular night, time had actually gotten away on me. I'd finished a bit later than I normally would in these situations. A bit later, I'd left and fueled up my work car and was leaving the town around 7 p.m, which was just my luck as it was starting to bucket down rain. There was probably a million places I would have rather have been that Saturday night. The night sky was ominously dark. A thick blanket of clouds was making any glimmer of light pretty much impossible to see. Relentless rain started to pour down as I was driving. The conditions was one where driving lights felt like they barely lit the road. About 20 minutes into my journey, I heard a large bang and the steering wheel violently twisted to the right, shooting me off onto the side of the road into a ditch. Luckily I wasn't even hurt, and even more lucky that the airbags did not go off. I heard those things can go off sometimes unexpectedly when running off-road. The battery in my car must have disconnected or had been damaged as I could no longer restart my car. Each attempt to start the engine only resulted in a disheartened silence, leaving me stranded on a desolate stretch of highway in the midst of growing despair. A distant rumble gradually intensified, cutting through the symphony of raindrops and my own mountain anxiety. Before I could make sense of the approaching sound, a pair of blinding headlights pierced the sky, revealing the silhouette of a massive semi-truck that came to a gentle stop beside my broken-down car. The driver, a burly man with a wetted face adorned with deep-set eyes. He leaned over to roll down the window, revealing a warm interior that stood in stark contrast to the cold, unforgiving night. "Seems like you're in a bit of a bind," he remarked, his voice harmonious blend of gruffness and genuine concern. "Why don't you hop in? I can give you a lift." Overwhelmed with gratitude for this unexpected act of kindness, I eagerly climbed into the cab. I was immediately enveloped with the comfort and warmth that came from within. "I can't thank you enough," I stammered, still trying to comprehend the sudden turn of events. The driver flashed a reassuring smile, introducing himself as Jack. As the miles stretched out before us, the rhythmic hum of the engine served as a backdrop to Jack's captivating tales for many years on the road. He spoke of adventures that spanned across the states, mishaps that tested his resilience, and chance encounters that forever altered his perspective on his life. Lost in his stories, I barely noticed as the twinkling lights of the nearby town began to emerge on the horizon, signaling the end of our unexpected journey. The truck pulled into a bustling truck stop. Jack guided me the massive vehicle into the vacant spot before turning to me with a knowing smile. "You'll be safe here," he assured me, pointing towards the nearby diner that's lights glowed a welcoming glow. "Grab yourself a warm meal and figure out your next move." Reluctantly stepping out of the truck, I watched as Jack revved the engine, disappearing into the labyrinth of night and shadows. Little did I realize that fleeting moment would forever alter the trajectory of my life in ways I could never have imagined. 4 weeks turned into a month. The memory of that fateful night gradually faded into the recesses of my mind, replaced by the mundane routines of daily life back in my permanent job location. That is, until a headline in the local newspapers reignited a sense of dread and curiosity. The headline read, "1 year anniversary of tragic truck accident." Unable to resist the haunting pull of the headline, I delved in the chilling details of the article, each word sending shivers down my spine. The story recounted a devastating accident involving a semi-truck driver named Jack, who had tragically lost control of his vehicle on the very stretch of highway where he'd once come to my rescue. The location of the accident aligned perfectly with the location of our encounter. The grim report concluded with a chilling note: there were no survivors. As I stared at the accompanying photograph, my eyes locked into the familiar face of Jack, his weathered features and deep-set eyes hauntingly familiar. A flood of emotions washed over me as I grappled with the unsettling truth. Had I been rescued by a phantom truck driver? Was Jack's spirit condemned to roam the highways, offering solace to unsuspecting travellers like me? I've been driven by an insatiable need for closure. I returned to the exact spot where Jack had appeared, hoping to find some sign of answers in the cold, unforgiving asphalt. Yet all I found was an eerie silence, punctuated only by the distant echoes of passing vehicles, a haunted reminder of the phantom truck driver who would forever change the course of my life. As the years passed, the memory of that fateful night continued to haunt me, a constant reminder of the inexplicable mysteries that lurk in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. And while I may never fully understand the nature of my encounter with the phantom truck driver, one thing remained certain: the journey I embarked on that fateful night transcended the confines of reality, offering a glimpse into the world where spirits roam and the destinies intertwine in the most unexpected of ways.